Please salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Approval of the agenda.
A motion to approve the county board agenda.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have no special presentation. Now the public comment. Opportunity for comments by the public for non-agenda items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. The board values comments received, but the law requires that board members not engage in a back and forth conversation on items not listed on the agenda. The board may, at its discretion, refer a matter to administration or calendar the issue for future discussion. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Board bylaws 93:23. Individual speakers should be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each item or non-agenda items. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. No public comments? Consent?
I got a public comment.
This is for the county.
County district doesn't matter. When did this change to 20 minutes? Changed at this meeting. Thank you.
Actually, if I can respond, it didn't change. If you go look at the board policies, you can see the date that it was approved by the board at the bottom of the board policy. That's been on the board agenda at the bottom of the agenda for months. And because there had been some question about how long public comment should be, I asked Linda to move it to this part where people could see it more clearly.
I can only speak to history. Freedom of speech is important to me. I teach government. And everybody in this room, if they want to speak, I think should have the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Consent?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, do we have any reports? Information? Action? No. Other business, future agenda items? No. Right, county meeting is adjourned. We'll go to the district. You know when you're ready.
Are we waiting for minutes?
We have to wait till 1:30. Yeah.
While we're waiting, can we move people up? Because we have a lot of people that can't even see what is going on in this meeting. Can we move up, please? Just ask them to move.
Effective 1/26/2020. The vote was unanimous. Also, in closed session, the board took action to terminate employee 19-20-14, and the vote was unanimous. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, with the approval of the agenda, we're going to pull item 15C, this resolution 15-20-27. Do you have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
No. This is just approval of the agenda.
Are you removing that item from the agenda? Okay.
All right, now we have special.
Why is it being removed? I'm curious, why is it being removed?
So the resolution for the subcommittee,
Yeah.
the main reason is if you, and this notification was sent to Marshall, Page, and Lake. If you look at Article 4 of the contract, the second paragraph, it states that unless the district imposes last, best, and final, there can be no strike. And the district has not imposed a last, best, and final, has not indicated they would impose a last, best, and final, and that nothing has been changed on salary schedules or anything else that would indicate that a last, best, and final has been imposed. And so at this point, the board doesn't feel that the strike can happen, and so there's no reason to move forward with that.
Nothing's changed for 10 months.
Pardon me?
Nothing's changed for 10 months.
So that's why.
All right, special presentation from Mountain School Principal.
Hi, I'm Ray Fearing, principal of Mountain Elementary School, and I'm here tonight on behalf of my team. It's a small school, as you know. We just have 3 certificated teachers there: Sandy Cooper, teachers are grades 6-8, Ross Morgan, teachers are grades 3-5, and Lee Anderson, teachers are grades K2. So that's multi-grade family room. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of information tonight about how we're doing in our progress and our needs and goals. Starting with attendance, our average daily attendance as of today is 91.87%. Not quite district goal, but very, very close. And we do work on that actively. We do use the A2A, attention to attendance, attendance conferences. Again, we only have 62 students enrolled, and so this year we've had 11 conferences so far, so that's 7 more next week. And those have been good at connecting with parents about their students' attendance and offering support, asking why the student might not be there and working on those issues. If we do that. So you can see here our absence summary report. 31% of our students have excellent attendance, 36% satisfactory, 18% manageable, 19% chronic, and 2% severe chronic. We're definitely working on a chronic and severe chronic, and trying to get those up.
That's the question. How many students does that 50% represent?
I think, oh gosh, I didn't have the numbers.
Well,
probably around, I think it was 1 and 8, so probably 9. We'll go into our assessment data now, and starting with past data. I'm very excited to say that I've been able to track our growth there for 3 years. This is my 4th year there, and we have seen really great growth over that time. I would definitely point out that this is probably the first time in years, although I imagine a lot of people remember past 3 mountain stores as teachers or principals, but this is the first time in years we've had staff stay year after year after year, and I think that's been huge. So they've been. Two of them are going to their 4th year with me, and then one came out of retirement to teach there, and she's in her 3rd year. What you'll see here is that from 2017 to 2019, we started out in a really bad place. At that time in 2017, I think we had 5 grade levels in a room, 2 classrooms. It's next to impossible to actually teach all the standards in a regular class or 2-grade class, but 5 grades, it's very, very difficult to really do it effectively. And so we had very, very low scores. Plus, teacher turnover was huge. And as we moved up, we've made great growth, and we're very proud of it. ELA, we've had over 3 years, 30% growth, and in math, about 22, almost 23% growth. Looking at the dashboard, if you see the big graphics are my students, and the smaller ones are compared to the state. So we've had that percentage equal to 71.2 point growth over 3 years in English language arts. So that meant that in 2017 we're 97 points below standard, and then now this last year we were only 25.94 points below standard. So that's really great compared to the state. We had 14 points for over 3 years. They're doing better than we are. We had a lot far to go, but I think we're catching up at a pretty good rate, and I'm optimistic we'll continue that growth. On the next slide is math, which we've had less growth, but still significant growth, 52.6 points over 3 years. Our students were 123 points below standard in 2017. Now we're 70.6 points below standard. So that's significant. The state comparison, 5-point growth in 3 years. So we're catching, not as fast in math as we'd like to, and that's why that's our focus for the year. On the next slide, you'll see our lowest performing subgroup is low socioeconomic students. And so they are not performing at the same rate as their peers, and that's why that's been a focus for us this year. So math is our school-wide focus, and then we're really targeting our economically disadvantaged kids and doing some special things for them, because we want to increase these, and the goal is to get this 6.67% of those kids up to at least 25 for next year. And so I'll talk about how we're going to make that happen in the next few slides. On the next slide, it shows our school plan for improvement. As I said, we're going to target underperforming students for intense small group instruction with the goal of increasing those economically disadvantaged kids to be at meet or exceed standard in math up to 25% or more. One strategy we've developed on the next slide to do this is what I'm calling the power quad. So we've had many meetings with our staff. Luckily, the district has let us do most of our collaboration at Mountain, as we are multi-grade and very far away, and we also have a later start time and end time. It's impossible to get in town for 2 o'clock meetings. We don't even get on Wednesday. So they let us meet a lot at our site, which has given us time to really look at data and talk about data and try out things and revise our plan. So what we're doing now, this is a teacher-generated plan. They did this with me. We're going to have the teachers, they are giving interims. Those are the interim assessments from past. And they're going to go over whole class, how the class did on those, pick out the questions most people didn't do well on, talk about how to attack that question, what the distractors were in that question, and really help the kids understand the test and the difficult questions that they encountered. My job is to meet one-on-one with those students. So I'm going to pull every 3rd through 8th grade kid in that low subgroup, but I'll probably post all of them because, again, and I'm going to do a meeting with them, just me and them, where I talk about the interim, their scores, their past scores and the year scores, the IEPs they're taking, and we're going to connect all that to study plans, habits, advocating for themselves in class, and how they can really own that and want to improve that. And then our is including the parent in that, so student, parent, teacher, and principal, so that we can meet, talk about here's what we've done with the kid, here's how you can support us, making sure they're at school every day, fed, happy, getting sleep, take that phone away when they go to bed, and go and keep that in their bedroom, those types of things, so that we can get everybody involved and really targeting these kids who are not performing where we need them to. Next slide. Another area of concern, in the interest of time, we only have 10 minutes. I didn't pull like a ton of Ames web data, but I did want to show our biggest concern is our K2 literacy. This is 1st grade and 2nd grade in Ames web for the first benchmark of the year. We have a lot of problems there. We're just not seeing the growth, and the teacher is fantastic at saying, hey, I'm not getting the results of what I'm trying, what else can they do, can I get help? So what we're doing for her is making sure, as best we can, that those kinders have adequate time for direct instruction. A large percentage of kids in that room have IEPs, which adds additional needs. So we're trying to get more support there, which we still need some. We don't have everything we need. And and then doing reading intervention. And we, here are kind of what we're working on, progress monitoring, obviously Ames Web on every kid who's not performing at the level we need. And then increase support in the classroom. We just made a shift again this week to put more support in the classroom in the afternoon, so that this teacher can have targeted time with the kinders, because that really is important. And we're feeling that a lot of this in our first and second grade is because in a multi-grade room over 3 years, the second grader's been in that same room with the same teacher for 3 years now, and we're not feeling they're getting enough direct kindergarten instruction. As a former high school teacher, teachers are a whole different thing, and they need so much that they struggle worst or most in a multi-grade classroom because they don't know school, right? They don't know all those things. So that's who we think is hurting the most by being in multi-grade. So we're trying to give that teacher time so they can stay where they need to be and keep progressing. We've done some other interventions, sits, lurks, learn. Very good kindergarten teacher in the district has been very gracious, and we've sent our teacher to Sugar Watch. Twice now she's come up and taught for us, provide feedback and support, and that's been helpful, but we feel we still need more there. And I was just talking to Mr. Harris about that this week, about another reading intervention, because these aren't doing what we need them to do, and we can figure out how to get them more. On the next slide, I have my family engagement opportunities, and these are some of the things we're doing, not everything. I do my parent engagement parties on the trimester during our assembly and student showcase. We invite parents on campus. I remember had about 20-25 parents show, and we focus on different topics. Last time I did all the parents do mindset mathematics from Joe Bowler, and they loved it. It was super fun. We do a newsletter, our STEM nights. We really encourage volunteer opportunities. We always have parents, and we have a lot of students return. After they graduate in 8th grade, they come back and volunteer in our school, even if they have to drive up to do it. So that's pretty awesome. We've also started doing video call options for parents. Since we do have a bus that brings kids up, we have parents to take advantage of that. So to join a council meeting or a PTO meeting, they can do a Zoom call and call in. I said monthly attendance conferences earlier, we're doing those, and then our new Power Quad idea to really target our low performing stuff. Next, successes and celebrations. I'm very happy that we have this 3-year growth trend at ELA and MAP, but as I said, keeping a staff, keeping the principal, giving them a principal, I think runs a lot to that. And then the entire staff is here on a Saturday training to mathematical mindset training with Dr. Joe Bowler in Humboldt. So they took a whole Saturday with me, we were all there, and it was great. Learned so much about math, mindset, and teaching mathematics. We also dedicated a school-wide hour math block each day, where it's like all hands on deck, and we work with that. And I even push in and do math group during that time as well. Our Power Quad teams, that I talked about before, is something we're excited about to really see that subject shine. And then our new system, the interactive gym, is here, it's in the warehouse, and we're just waiting to get it installed. Just some last minute details about beams and stuff like that until we can get that installed. So hopefully I'll have that done in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Needs, excuse me, we do have a few. Reading intervention, we really feel like I need some K2 intervention support, and K5 also, because we have some kids that came out of that K2 room previously and now 3rd grade, but are not performing where they need to be. So additional support for reading intervention, IA support for our 6th and 8th grade classes. Because of the need we have in K2 and K5, 6-8 doesn't have a lot, and they need to get more support in there because, again, IEPs, behavior issues, there's lots of things going on in middle school classrooms, especially when I have 6th graders and 8th graders. And so I would like additional IA support specifically for the purpose of that group. Not to mention, next year we'll be part of the Cali Reads Grant, targeting students who struggle with reading in middle school. And that's happening at 3 middle schools right now, will be added next year. And for that intervention and support to happen, it would be nice if that teacher had some extra support part of the day to where she could focus on that intervention. A science lab, the science standards are here, testing is here, and it's very hard to do science in a regular classroom when you don't have beakers, graduated cylinders, and microscopes and all those things powered for the microscope. So I believe all schools and my school need a science lab room where they can do these high-level science experiments and get that experience. Because on the test, I've watched kids take, the test practice tests that they do with them and things, and a lot of things they say is, one of those. It's a picture on the screen I've never even seen when they're held one. So until we give them access to the equipment, they're kind of lost on the test. A school track we've been working on, trying to get a school track for a couple of years. It was a student project. We had everything lined up, but just couldn't get the funds together. But that's still a goal of ours because we want to have a track team. And we wanted to have a place that was safe. Right now, they run from over the cement barrier on the playground around the track. It's kind of dangerous, so we want to get a school track in there so that it can be flat surface to run. And then the last thing, support for our Project Lead the Way program, which takes a lot of funding every year to run. This is very rigorous engineering curriculum. It's fantastic. I'm super excited that the high school might be doing something along those lines, so that my kids, when they graduate now, can get those high technical courses at the high school. Not that they're not doing great CT programs already, but Don Hartley and a couple other people have visited our program, and they recognize that our kids come just kind of with a higher level skill from this intense engineering curriculum. And so we want to keep that going. And that's very expensive to do. So I'm working on grants, nothing yet. That's something that we definitely need. And then last, my goal, we want to close the achievement gap, that low performing student group. You know, the first 3 years we really focused on whole school, just getting our act together and making sure we had structures in place and systems in place that kids can succeed. And now we're really targeting those kids who are not succeeding and what we need to do for them. I want to get that loose system installed and then integrated into the academic day so we can really support social emotional learning, physical activity, and other things. We have a basketball team. It kind of fell apart, but we filled in with girls. We have a co-ed team, one 8th grade boy. We're playing on the 8th grade team, so be kind, right? It's going to be we want to fill the track team because we've had one before and they just love it. So we're hoping to make the track team go. And then right now I'm working on writing a RAC, federal funds for forest management to do some work at Gasky Trail and Stony Creek Trail projects up in Gasky as part of the environmental science project. Those are my goals. I think that's it. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions?
I think I asked my question.
What I wanted to know is, when you do the phone, the Zoom presentations for parents to call in, do you get good participation in them?
Yeah, we don't have, I mean, maybe as much, but yeah, we always have at least one person who's out of town on business, away at a conference, and they can join and be a part of it still. Or if they can't get up to Gasky, they can stay in town and join. They have back-to-back meetings or something.
Present that at the principal's meeting so other principals might throw that out there, because I know it's hard for working parents to sometimes get away to go to those meetings, so that might be, they take their lunch maybe at work or something.
Any other questions? Anybody? Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Training with our high school, and I was told to be very short. I have 10 minutes, so I have a meeting in 8 minutes, so I got to make it short. I have Allison passing out basically kind of like a copy of what I'm talking about here with some attachments that I'm not putting up here because it takes a lot of time. It's things we've actually covered before. So, first of all, Delmar High School, we have about 47 teachers dedicated, 9 departments. We have a lot of moving parts in high school and work very well together. So I'm proud of the place. I'm proud to be at every day, and really, over the years, have a chance to talk to you guys. And there's a lot of things happening there. I'm going to go ahead and have you flip through there. We're going to talk about the bullets that I was asked to talk about and try to stay on course for this time. I'm going to start my timer right here. Attendance right now at Delmar High School, as of right now, almost in the first semester, we're at 93.4%. Our goal is 95. You can kind of see, Cody's not going to look here. We've been hovering around that 93, 94 for the last 4 years pretty consistently. What we do see are changes within the national classes. The 9th and 10th grade are attending a little better than last year. The junior and senior classes have dropped a little bit, but we're marginal. We're talking about overall not a significant change. We have our incentive programs, things like that, but as we talked about before, I think high school kids don't really work for the prize. They appreciate getting it, but they're not incentivized by, hey, we have these things for you to get back in the road. Next slide, please. looking at our past data, yeah, go to the next slide. In our ELA world, the last several years, actually, I just the last 3 years, the last several years, we've been scoring very high compared to the state. They're running 57, 59. We've been up there with them or above. This last year, our juniors took a hit. They really didn't score as well as they have in the past. And we spent quite a bit of time in the fall looking at this data with the English department, trying to get a handle on what it might be about. Silver linings, before I get into some of the areas we're working on, silver linings at this same cohort as 8th graders were about 36-37% proficient or advanced or meeting exceeding. And so we can say that we've seen some growth definitely with the cohort, not what we would like to see. We can also see in the subgroup data that our ELs actually had a 20% increase in meeting or exceeding standards. So that's kudos to our EL, ALD teachers that are working with those students and the work that was done previously. So in meeting with the department, one of the things we have is school-wide writing proficiency work that we do within departments. We really looked at where our students score poorly. We found that they scored better this last round in narrative. Happened to be the focus, an increased focus in our English departments because of a lower narrative last year, the previous year. So we saw an increase in narrative where we worked on it. It may have been a more of a focus there than expository, where we saw a drop this last round. So we're kind of looking at that and saying, let's don't drop a ball, let's pick up a new ball, make sure that we've got school-wide focus on key areas departmentally. Next slide. In math department, in math scores for the high school, we saw a similar trend in our drops. We've been hovering just below the state average for the last several years, and a couple years prior to this, we were outscoring the state. But in the last year, our juniors didn't do as well. And as a cohort, they did better as 8th graders than this round. But we can look at a few different things. We've lost a couple of very solid veteran teachers to the high school, that went to high school, and their influence and their familiarity with curriculum and state standards. We've had some newer teachers so that we need a little more time to get the curriculum under their feet. And we're looking at 1 year. 1 year does not make a path of a trend, so we're going to look at how this can move forward. In terms of efforts, in the fall, Leslie Machado's team and some of us went down to a first CAPS training in the state for California this year, and we really dove into math. And we came back, and her team, our coaches, put together basically a PD for my teachers to really get into, and I think Sunset was there too. And we really dove into what does it look like, what do performance-based tests look like, what does that platform look like. It's been a good several hours on this and getting the teachers on board with that. And also goals to start tackling parents tests with students for platform familiarity, and also ensuring that before our test. So we're making some shifts that we haven't had before. Teachers are really, I think, as mine, eyes were open at some of the challenges that are basic, task challenges on a computer keyboard that a student who did not see the test may really struggle with. So we're optimistic. Obviously we have some. We don't like seeing a dip like that, but it's more important to understand why and to tackle it. That's what we're trying to do. Next slide, please. Parent engagement. I don't know if you guys know Delaware High, we're the Entertainment Center for Delaware County. So every week we have events, every week. So we engage parents in performances and in football games and basketball games, and you name it. And we have a lot of conferences at all those. People come out and ask us, so teachers work the games, so we're engaging there. In your packet, I want to say it's the second to last page. I'm going to spare you all the ways that we engage parents. So this is something I shared with you maybe a year ago, and I updated it. But you can look at all of our recognition events, all the awards nights, our literacy, Native American awards nights, ELD, AVID celebrations, and so on. We have our parent groups. Not only do we have school site council and English learner ELAC groups, we also have, because of our CTE programs, we have advisory groups for AG and for all of our CTE programs, which is parents and community professionals, and all of those things. So just to kind of give you a sense of that, in high school, we are always there, engaging parents. Next slide, please. So looking at successes and celebrations, for me, when I look at Delaware High School and I look at our 900 plus kids this year, I like to get a number in my head how many are doing anything besides just going to school, which is what we're there for. But we're engaging kids in a lot of ways. And right now, just in the fall in winter sports, 250 175 kids have been involved in programs. We know we'll add another 150 to 200 kids in the spring. We're figuring about 180. 455 kids that we estimate will be in sports this year alone. Clubs, we right now have 300 kids going to clubs for the week. CCE programs, you can see the numbers there. And DPA, so over half our population is involved in CTE programs for the arts. And then with our college readiness programs, college readiness programs, Abbott, Upward Bound, ERA, Talent Search, and the new RCICP, which is Redwood Indian Career Pathways Grant Group. We have over 500 and something kids that are actually engaged or contacting other adult groups for support in the college career plan. So pretty proud of that. We have a new college career center at high school too. That's a base for this, and a lot of activity there. So, you might have heard our soccer team went into NCS playoffs again, so that's a celebration. You may have heard our football team won NCS. After that, and took second place in the state of California. Today, just today, as is kind of fun to add, HSU came to Crest Elk and then to the high school, had a phenomenal assembly. I think they were as well received at Crest Elk. We had the president of HSU and the vice president of HSU, one of them, along with some chairs and professors. We've never had those folks in Delaware County at our high school. In my 38 years of being around the schools, and they said, we don't think it's ever happened. They were there. 30, almost 40 seniors received today automatic admission to HSU, and 40 seniors received those 40 seniors also received $8,000 in scholarships should they choose to go there. Hold on, my time's over. Okay, I'm doing it. This year was the first year of our new freshman success class. This class is really geared to get freshmen transitioned from the 8th grade programs and schools, and we know that's a challenging time. We're using a curriculum called Get Focused, Stay Focused. We have 4 teachers dedicated to the entire freshman class this year. It's a year-long course. It does the tech things that we used to do in the 21st century. It does the health stuff in the spring, but it really focuses kids on what's high school about, what's your plan look like, developing a 10-year plan, not a 4-year plan. And we'll say it's successful as we look down the road. I feel right now that we're doing some new things. I'm excited about that. I have 4 teachers who are all bringing something new or unique to that platform for our kids. They're dedicated, they meet weekly, just a lot of really cool things happening on there. And a counselor dedicated to this group as well. One counselor is focused on this group. College Career Center, I mentioned that, they're up and running, and getting tighter. They're working together, and that's becoming a much more well-oiled machine. This year, we also hired a student activities monitor, hall monitor. She's great. She shows up right before break, she leaves after lunch, and really helps us with movement. We're noticing kids are in the halls with passes now. That was the hard thing to do. They don't want to get caught without the pass because she gets on. So we'll know, we're watching our numbers. We're seeing, already we've seen some changes in some of our midday choices that were this past weekend. All right, next slide. All right, this one I showed you before, just kind of, I'm proud of going to heist, all the opportunities that we offer kids. You can go ahead and move that in your packet as well. All right, we were asked to talk about facility needs tonight. I can't talk about needs without laughing. I went to this and I moved up here because everything that I saw from last year as a need was done, almost everything. So Steve, your team, kudos to you guys. We got things I didn't even ask for that were done that were really important and based on the need. But we got fencing in the gravel parking lot, soccer high fencing area along Harding to keep walls and around the streets, hydration, irrigation, and more things. The new carpeting in the office area, the front office area, and the library looks phenomenal. We still would love to have the parking lot resurfaced. That's probably just a couple dollars, right? We'd love to get that parking lot for the football area paved someday. That's a dream. Honestly, of all these things, the school perimeter fencing is probably my hot button I've talked about over the years for safety issues, for truancy issues, and kind of giving us a sense of security around the place. We are working on a tiny house construction facility because we are building tiny houses in the rain. It's miserable. So, all right. Next slide, please. where we had these, this could be a very long list. I just really shortened this. We're continuing to focus on increasing access and equity in the county. So our counselors still do outreach in Smith River, Klamath, trying to get out to those areas where families may have trouble getting here, so they're hearing the same information. Our ELAC meetings happening here and as well as Smith River, to make sure those families have our opportunities. We want to respond to our CAP results. We're always working to close that gap and look at our subgroups and see where we can tweak things. We are continuing to improve RCA. Just this week, Jeff Campbell is trying to resurface 50 or 60-year-old tabletops or countertops with new steel work so they can work better. And lastly, it's kind of our balancing board there, the California dashboard. We look at that. We're really focusing a lot of our attention on the quality peer readiness indicators, which give us a good picture. Are we getting kids A through B? Are we getting kids? Are we passing those tests, things like that? So we're balancing a lot of our feedback off of that. So, and that's all I have. Do you have any questions? 12 minutes. My best time yet.
Any questions from the board?
I'm curious about one thing.
Yes.
What's the status on the tiny house construction facility? Do you have any?
Great question. We don't know. We actually had to write 4 grants. It was really odd, and I don't know all the details, but we had 4 moving parts, and depending on how those or which one of those can get funded, we'll know. They haven't given us feedback yet. We just got, I think Steve just put an email out last week to say where we at, and the answer was soon. So I'm expecting by.
Just so that you know, I got another email from the state today saying they're about to release those letters, probably early next week.
Okay.
And then once they release the letters, then whatever we get, we can go ahead and apply for that funding with that letter.
Okay. All right.
So that'll be really exciting. That's a really cool plan to spend again.
And well, just one interesting part, now I'm extending your presentation.
Thank you.
Not wrong. But as we go through, so what it really is it's a grant that allows us to leverage money that was already spent at the high school out of the GEO bond. And what it'll do is it'll refund GEO bond money for the purposes of building the CT facility. So it basically will be built at no additional cost.
Anybody else? Any questions? Thank you, Randy. Thank you. Thank you. Getting to public comments. Opportunity for comments by the public for non-agenda items or within subject matter jurisdiction of the board. The board values comments received, but the law requires the board members not engage in the back and forth conversations on items not listed on the agenda. The board may, at its discretion, refer a matter to administration and calendar the issue for future discussions. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Board bylaws 9323, individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda items. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Board comments? Do we have any comments from the public?
Wait. Can you speak up? We can't hear you back here.
Any comments from the public?
We can't hear you.
Just a bit of housekeeping. We've got over 200 people in here. There's no speakers, there's no ventilation in here. We can't hear you guys. Can't hear you. You can't see the board. This is unsat. This is horrible. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mike Malou, actually pronounced Malou. I'm a former DNTA president and DNTA negotiator. I was in the district for about 100 years. In the 1990s, I directed an election campaign defeating 2 incumbent school board members and, in the process, saved the district hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical costs. When I was union president, the current school bond passed due to DNTA support. In my opinion, the current impasse has nothing to do with money. It is about ego and power. previous school board meeting, a trustee commented that a state mandated 3% reserve would only run the district 1 or 2 months. The truth is, if you have to use your reserve to operate schools, then there is some sort of a crisis, a natural disaster, or worse. Eventually, the state will step in with dollars to help the district and to restore the reserve. The reserve is a stopgap resource. It's time for the board to direct the administration to settle with their teachers. I apologize to those trustees who have quietly supported employees. I just don't know who you are. My purpose tonight is to begin a recall of your positions. This includes the elected position of County Superintendent of Schools. So far, I have received no help from DNTA in this process. A successful petition drive will cost the district $60,000 in special election costs. You've been served with a notice of intention to circulate a recall petition.
My name is Jessica Curry. I am new to this district. We just moved here in June. We love it here. I love the teachers. I have 3 children that go to this school. I have 1 at the high school. I have 2 at Smith River. 2 of them are special needs. If you allow these teachers to strike and you don't pay them what they are worth, you know what that does to an autistic child. You know what that does to an ADHD child. You know how many rights my child's going to be violated because the sub has no clue about IEPs or 504s? No clue. You don't deal with them. I do. I deal with the yelling, the screaming, the throwing. Do you know how it is to dodge a Thomas the Train? Because those tough things hurt when they get thrown in your head. Let me tell you. You guys don't get it. Put yourself in the parents' shoes. Put yourself in these kids' shoes. These kids are our future. You have no idea. Mr. Lopez at the high school. He is the first teacher I have ever met in 5 years, because my son was not allowed to do PE, to take my son and say, Wyatt, we're going to work on this slowly. We're going to get your knee back to the way it was. No other PE teacher in Hollister School District, where we're from, touched it because they were too afraid. And if you do have substitutes, get ready for the lawsuits, because those parents of every special needs child, as soon as they find out that their IEPs, 504s, have been violated, welcome to the lawyers.
Woo!
Hi, Charlotte Solos, Treasurer of the NTA. I am speaking because we have a phrase in special education called meaningful progress.
Yes.
We haven't had meaningful progress on our negotiation. If you are going to hang the fact that there will be no strike on that word impose, there better be meaningful progress, or this community will obviously act. They have circulated petitions for recall. Parents will probably organize something else. So I'm just saying that if you don't make meaningful progress and you play a game with holding that imposed, it will be seen for the sham that it is.
Hello, my name is Claire Taylor. My mother is a teacher, but she's not just a teacher. She's a caregiver, a mentor, a provider. The list could go on and on and on. Day after day, she wakes up and goes to work, but so does everybody else, so do you guys. It's what she does at work that matters. She has taught elementary students for numerous years. I cannot tell you the amount of time and effort she puts into the projects for the kids or the details of her lesson plans, but I can tell you how much of her own money, time, and heart she puts into her students, only to be neglected by the administration of this office. Wow. Thought and effort into our students, and it's unfortunate that you guys don't reciprocate. I'm a senior in high school. I should be at wrestling practice right now, but instead I'm standing here fighting for my mother's and for my teachers' pay raise that you guys should have rightfully done. Instead of overpaying the sub to break the upcoming strike, you should be putting that money into the teachers' paychecks. Why are you able to pay the subs so much money, but not able to pay the teachers a reasonable amount? If the amount of support the teachers have been receiving isn't enough to convince you to give them a raise, I don't know what will. I don't know how many people you need at these meetings to prove to you that these teachers deserve more money. There's a student-orchestrated walkout that I participated in a couple of weeks ago that had over 200 students participating in. There's a hashtag on social media. Plenty of people who aren't teachers support the teachers' pay raise. There's over 1,000 parents who signed a petition to keep their children at home while this strike is going on. These teachers have been tasked with educating our future leaders. Their paychecks should adequately match the responsibilities given to them, and your responsibility is to make sure that happens.
Parent of 3. I'm here again. I'd rather be at home cooking healthy dinner for my children, but I'll just pick up a Papa Murphy's like I had to do last time and the time before that and the time before that. I have a feeling that we are not being heard. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm pretty loud, so I'm not sure what the problem is, but we do not feel heard. That's a problem. That is not the kind of community I want to live in. That is not the kind of public education I want my children to participate in. I've already told you at Margaret Keating here in letters how important my children's teachers are in our lives and in their lives of their future, our collective future. You have, in essence, been negotiating the future of this county. You have been negotiating my children's education, and I'm angry about that. For 11 months, you've been negotiating. The division this administration has caused in our community is your fault. You aren't to blame if these teachers strike, and everyone in our community knows that. I refuse to allow this administration to divide us and to threaten the most beloved members of our community, our teachers. Those threats yesterday are disgraceful. The guaranteed 1% COLA is unacceptable. I don't care what healthcare plan any teacher chooses, the most expensive one. COLAs are meant to offset the cost of healthcare. And the elected officials here who we voted for you. We did. This is our school. This is public public education. This is not the private sector. You don't get to just do this. I'm angry, I'm sorry. If we have even one teacher bringing home less pay this year, that is unacceptable. I don't care what healthcare plan they choose. That was in your newspaper article, that's why I'm mentioning it. School board, for 11 months, you have allowed the negotiations of our collective future to continue. You have heard from unappreciated, overworked, underpaid teachers about what they need. You've heard from parents and community members who rely on our teachers to prepare our children academically, socially, and emotionally to be the future members of this community. We've all been telling you for 11 months to support our teachers. School board, I'm not sure what you ran for. I'm not sure why you even had a campaign if you're not making a decision with this. 11 months of negotiations. My sons will not be going to school during the strike. Instead, I'll be home, probably with about 15, 20 kids in my house, and I'm going to go over because everybody else does. But I don't mind having all those children in my house and feeding them and not charging my community members, my neighbors, to do childcare for them so they can go to work. Because this is about working with dignity in our county. That's what this is about. This is a large issue. Board will disrupt all of our lives. It already has. It's already If you want to play, it is not the teachers again, it is this administration and it is the school board. You can prevent the strike, you can do what's right, and you can give our teachers the COLA that they are asking for and that they deserve.
Can hear me. I don't have a really big voice, so I'm going to try. I am Norma Williams. I am the chapter president of the Delaware County Employees Association, SEIU 1021. And on behalf of all of our almost 300 employees represented by our union, we stand in 100% solidarity with the Delaware Teachers Association. To negotiate long and hard to fight for equitable, fair living wages, especially when we are being told time and again that we don't have the money, or at least that the county doesn't have the money. We know full, hard, and well what it's like to fight really hard and be at the table for long negotiations, oftentimes being met unfairly and without any dignity or respect on behalf of the county administration. What you're looking at here is a bunch of teachers, quite frankly, who next to parents are the most influential people in the children's lives. They basically hold the future of Delaware County in their hands when children come through their classrooms each and every single day. From what I've been hearing and from what I've been seeing, your district and your administration has not been dealing fairly with these teachers. They deserve respect, they deserve dignity, and quite frankly, they deserve what they are worth. Amen. Pay them what they deserve. Pay them what they're worth. Pay them what, quite frankly, they represent. The future, the tomorrow of Delaware County and each and every single children in this district.
Small children at Pine Grove, and I'm coming here today because I feel like, all things set aside, the ones who are actually going to be traumatized by everything that transpires over this next week is the children. And that's what everybody's forgetting. This has been a back and forth about the teachers, the district, everything, but it's the children that are suffering. And so, hypothetically, if the teachers go on strike next week, what does that entail? Us as there's a group of us concerned parents that have gotten together. I work in the PTO, volunteer PTO through my school, and also the school site council through my school. My concern is, how are the substitutes going to have the curriculum? Who's providing the curriculum for them? How is what our children are being taught currently going to move forward? How can the school board guarantee to us that our children are going to get the education that they deserve this year, no matter what transpires next week? When you have a 5- and 6-year-old child in school, they become extremely attached to those teachers. Every single person that's here knows that. I'm not saying that there's wrong and right. I mean, there is wrong and right, but this isn't a blame game. This is a let's fix this issue. We're not fixing the issue, and the people that are suffering are the youngest ones. They are the ones that are our future. I'm a 2005 graduate of Delmont High, graduated top of my class. You know, was very blessed to be able to go to an amazing university. And I'm watching what's happening nowadays with my children, and it's sad because you have kids that are going to be scared. Their comfort is their kindergarten teacher. You know, there's children that are victims of abuse whose only serenity is going to that school and that teacher being there with that smile on their face to help them and move them. And how do we know that there's not going to be switching substitute teachers every day on these poor little kids? It's one thing when it's a high school student you can understand, but when we're talking about the youngest ones of our students here, we need to fix this issue. And a strike is going to devastate these youngest members of our community. And I think that as a school board and teachers, I think that might be what we're forgetting, is that this is a bigger picture than just a pay raise. This is helping make sure that the youngest members of our community are getting the education that they deserve and that us as taxpayers are paying for. And I really hope that we can set aside all of our differences, no matter what our beliefs are, and get this settled so that we can continue normalcy for our children.
Hi, my name is Sammy Jinsall. I come from the village of Redwood, and I've spent all of my school years right here in Delaware County, from preschool in Klamath, all the way to College of Redwoods here in Persephone City. And having said that, I'm also a part of the court case Jinsall, where it's the Delaware School District, which was making sure that there was proper treatment of indigenous children within this very county. So I don't need you guys to tell me about how we cannot provide the necessary resources for our schools because I've lived it. What I need you guys to do is to pay the qualified teachers that we have to give our children a proper education. We have the teachers, we have the resources, and I wish this could be a problem about saying somebody's not doing their job. But the facts are, you are doing your job, you're just not very good at it. As a community member who's been through these traumas of going through the school district and rising above it, we've started a nonprofit organization that's based right here in Redwood in Delaware County, one of the first and only self-sustained youth programs in this area. And today we've grown into an Indigenous Organizing Committee, and the first part of becoming part of anything is getting to know what's going on, the research. And I've talked to the people. I've seen my teacher, my first grade teacher, my kindergarten teacher, come up to me, and I see her things on Facebook, and the post is saying that they do not provide the proper resources for their children, and the fact that they're spending their own paychecks to make sure that they have the proper stuff for their classrooms, to make sure they have to choose between, affordable health care and being able to be a good teacher and do their job correctly. You guys, it's not their fault. You guys are putting them in this position. And you hear that superintendent is boiling his way into making sure that our teachers live below poverty and don't have the opportunity to provide for themselves, their loved ones, and their classrooms. Is this not right? And that's a fight that I can be a part of, and that's a fight that we can dedicate our cause to as well. So we'll be doing research on all you guys and making sure that you're doing what's right for our community now. Thank you.
I don't know where to stand. I just want to tell you a quick story. I moved to this area not really knowing why, and I'm glad to be here. And I was proud of our I was proud of how the community came together for the football team. And I have not picked a side, and I choose to not dictate my life based on fear, okay? So I want you to know that I am here trying to understand both sides. And I can hear this side, and my fault for not being educated, because I don't know their side, and I am sorry. And I have a master's degree. I support public school, and I'm shaking not because I am afraid. I'm shaking because I feel an energy here that I want you to know that I'm still grateful to be here. And I wanted to be a teacher, and I didn't go into education. I don't know who to even look at. Anyway, I didn't go into education because there wasn't money in education. Okay? And can you please, sorry, this isn't about an impeachment to me. This isn't about Republican, Democrat. This is not something like that to me. I am not modeling to you something that makes me, anyway. I just want you to know that if my child goes to school, I am not telling you, a lot of people in here I trust and I appreciate and I'm glad to be here. I'm not telling you that if she goes to school, I don't support you. I want to know if she goes to school, is she going to be safe? And not because I'm afraid that someone's going to come shoot at the school. I will not be afraid of that. That's something you guys have dealt with. That I want to be respectful of time. I just started teaching something for our church this week. Okay, I am glad to be American. My son now lives in Argentina, and he's doing something for our church there. He's serving a mission there, and he has had many people that are not American that he has felt don't like him because he is American. Okay, and I know that we have the choice to support that flag or not. And this is not about that. And I'm sorry, I have not been. I am used to reading the newspaper for information. I'm used to watching the news for information. Social media is something I am not a part of because I do not want to be part of fear, okay? And my background is in business administration, okay? My undergraduate is in accounting. I worked in the financial services industry. I didn't quit that job to go become a teacher because I wanted to be able to use that money that I was making to support education. And when I moved here, I did that, and I tried to do that. Thank you. And I don't want to be attacked for saying those things, please.
So, my name's Alex Skaggs. I should have wrote everything I'm about to say on my phone, but I didn't. I don't care about looking at something. I'm gonna look at all of you. I'm 16, I go to that high school right there. I'm a sophomore, and I plan to go to college for nuclear research, even though I'm not that good at math. I might go for a minor in scene performance, even though that's a horribly difficult instrument. I want to do it because of you. I go to school, I don't hate going to school. I enjoy going to school because of all of you. There's past teachers that I look at now that are sad, and it's demoralizing. Yeah. All of you, you made me what I am today. You made me want to go to college. Some of my friends that didn't want to go to college before now want to go to college. They want to get their degree because they enjoy going to school. If you get subs, it doesn't do anything. These teachers have connections with students. Every single day they go in a classroom and sit with them for 45 minutes. I don't even think I could sit in a room with one of someone my age. These teachers sit in classrooms with 40 to 50 overpopulated classrooms for 45 minutes to an hour. I have no idea how you guys do it. It's amazing. What? Wow, I should have really written this down. There are so many friendly faces, which they put me here today. They put me in this spot. I didn't think I'd be standing in this podium because I didn't think I needed to. I think it's stupid that I need to get up. I should be doing my homework and practicing right now, but I'm not. I'm sitting here talking about my life, and I love going to school. I love every single one of my teachers. Every single one of them has a positive energy that I've never seen in someone before. Pay them what they deserve, and that positive energy is going to go everywhere. I don't know if I was positive, angry, or neutral, but I hope all of you go home knowing that I love you all.
I'm sorry, I really don't like to do that. I just wanted you to say, I don't.
Excuse me,
I'm sorry.
this usually
Just once?
Once, yeah.
Sorry about You know that I don't want my kids to have to be homeschooled because I am afraid of what is going on, and I don't blame you, and I know that this is an intense situation, so I'm trying to be here to be respectful of all of you guys. Just so I'm trying, anyway.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Joyner. You might know me as a local educator, but I'm here in so many more roles than that. First, I am a proud third-generation Del Norte County resident. I love my home, which is why I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher also because of the teachers in this room. I moved here when I was 3, when my father, who did not graduate from this high school, he dropped out, went into the Navy for 25 years, came back here to raise me. I moved back here to be a parent of my children in this county because of these people. And yet I'm talking about me. I'm not here to talk about me because I honor my role in education every single day. As a concerned community member, as a proud alumnus of so many of our district schools, as an involved parent and a passionate teacher. This is about you. You are serving Del Norte County in the roles of our superintendent and board of trustees, and I am challenging you to reflect on those roles. How do you honor your positions as leaders in our field of education? Are you fulfilling or exceeding your own visions of success? Do you speak out about the pressing issues facing local education? Are you ensuring a positive climate exists? Do you ensure accountability to the public by monitoring and adjusting district finances and providing input into the collective bargaining process? When a superintendent is hired by Del Norte's Board of Trustees, that person is charged with providing advice and leadership to the board and to the district's chief negotiator during the collective bargaining process. Is the current state of negotiations between the district and Del Norte teachers a result of your advice and leadership? 90% of your teachers voted to strike because your problem is so significant. We are not asking for a raise. We are asking for a 3.26% COLA. Or asking DNTA to trust the district enough to settle a 3-year contract is a shell game.
Absolutely.
And none of it respects Del Norte County or our youth.
Absolutely.
So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Luis Flyer. I teach 4th grade at the River School. This whole process has gained me like
80 friends on Facebook. So any of the board members or my friends on Facebook, I didn't want to make it awkward by sending you a friend request. So if you send me one, I'll accept it. But recently, I felt compelled to speak. I didn't think I was going to today because my integrity was put into question on social media. And so I thought that I had to come up here to just clarify a couple of things for those of you that did not see this post on Facebook. But, so I'm a child of migrant workers and restaurant workers here in Del Norte County. And so, you know, for someone like me, who grew up on that kind of money, obviously making $63,000 at year 5 is a lot of money to me. I mean, I think I'm wealthy because of the amount of money that my parents made when I was growing up. And I thank the teachers of this county for giving me the opportunity and the leg up to pursue my goal of becoming a teacher. And I didn't join the bargaining team. Trust me, I didn't want to join the bargaining team. Okay, I remember we met upstairs at Good Harvest, and then I said yes. I didn't realize that 11 months in we would be in this situation. I probably would have said no. But you know, I started off making $47,000 as a first-year teacher here at Del Norte. Now I make $63,000. I had to pay $20,000 to earn a master's degree to be able to do that. I make about $15,000 more than I did when I first started teaching here, so you do the math, right? Did I really make more money? No. But you know, that degree gave me so many opportunities. I work at Humboldt State University. I'm a lecturer to the credential programs, and I want to brag about this district. I want those teachers to come to this district. Right now, I don't feel comfortable asking them to come to Del Norte County. One of my students applied and came to Del Norte County, and I feel ashamed that she had to come to this type of environment because most of these teachers probably know. Like, when people would badmouth the district, I'd be like, really? Come on, guys. They're like cool people. Like, you've given me so many opportunities. I've gone to so many trainings, so many conferences. Anytime the district would say, hey, can you do this for us? Of course, because we're a team. We're supposed to work together for our community, for our kids. I was asked on Monday by Leslie, hey, can you help with the seal of biliteracy? Of course, if this means that our high school kids can earn a seal of biliteracy by me helping them in that process, you bet I'm going to be there to help them. This is so much more than that, right? My therapist advised me to stop drinking Starbucks drinks. I said, not going to happen, right? Someone like me is going to be okay with the amount of money that I make, right? I'm single, I have multiple jobs, but this isn't about me. This is about brand new teachers to our district who have to pay $10,000 out of pocket for good health care. So really you're not making $50,000, you're making $40,000. This is for teachers who qualify for Medi-Cal as brand new teachers in our district. This is about them, and this is about our students. Because a student in Del Norte County should not have a brand new teacher, kindergarten, first, and second grade. That's not good. Right? And our test scores reflect that. Look it up. Our test scores would be so much better if we were able to attract and retain and keep our teachers.
Okay, so I was not prepared for this at all. I'm a special needs mom. I'm going to get emotional because, well, I wasn't prepared, and I'm a very emotional person, to be quite honest. Especially when it's about something I'm passionate about, which is my son. He was diagnosed with autism at 3, and every day since then, and before, has been a struggle. It's not a secret for anybody in this room that a child with special needs has special needs. Along with that, standing in this room are people who have been a part of my IEP, who specifically, I have documented IEP that specifically says that the relationship between Miss Sedgwick, who my son asks for by name every morning at 3 a.m. or 1:30 when he wakes up, okay, and his aide, Mrs. Shea, is literally, he comes to this district to evaluate students and the team that they have. And I was specifically told that them working together is like gold, that they've never seen a combination of that teacher and that aide for my child and his needs. And I can tell you something, I have people from Sacramento watching right now. I have people from Virginia watching right now.
an IEP attorney watching right now. But my son needs that team every day. Because of his afflictions, he missed almost all of November. I just got him back in there. I was just told that we need to work hard at having him there every day with that team until March, till the next IEP, and that's what I hold on to as special needs mom, okay? It's very rough, and I don't mean any disrespect in my tone, but maybe I do. I'm very upset. I moved here from Sacramento 2.5 years ago to give my family a different opportunity. I swear I took out credit cards, loans to move here. I vacationed here in June. I resigned from a $5,000 a month job in August, and I moved here in September. And that's the reality of it. Because I thought that I was moving my kids to a better place. That district's not striking. Sorry. But this one is, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I'm upset. And this needs to end now.
Certificated district school nurse for the district. For the past few years, we have tried to hire a nurse for the full-time position. Due to reasons given for not taking the position are the pay. If I wanted to make more money, I would go work at the hospital. I would go work at the prison. I don't want that job. I want to work here for the students. I want to work with all of these teachers here. They are asking for a COLA, not just they, me. Like, that's not, I'm choosing not to work 100% so that I don't have to take the benefits, to be honest. Honestly, that is why I am not going 100%. Because I'm forced to take benefits. My husband gets benefits through the prison, and I am forced to take benefits if I work 100%. So I am choosing not to do that. But if we go on strike, I go on strike with them. So that means there is no school nurse in the district. You have no school nurse if we go on strike. You have 4 LVNs who work for the school district who have to have a nurse oversee what they are doing. There is not going to be a school nurse for them. Have you thought about what you are going to do for that position if I am to go on strike? You cannot even hire a nurse for this position. We have tried for 2 years. There is a person who is going to take and start when I don't know. I've been waiting for somebody to start with me for a couple months now. We had somebody who was going to start, and now we're waiting. I haven't heard from HR as to when this person is starting with me. So you figure it out what's going to happen when we go on strike.
Hi, my name is Ivy Graham, and I am not a public speaker, so I apologize in advance. But I had a couple of concerns for the board. I did actually send each and every one of you guys an email and have yet to get a response from anybody. I have a couple of concerns. My son is 5 years old. He has special needs. He has an IEP. He attends Redwood School, and he's in an all-inclusive classroom. It's January now. How many months have we been in school? Redwood still has yet to attract and retain a competent, qualified special education teacher for some reason. So, I heard they may have interviewed somebody who would have been perfect for the position, but he wasn't offered the amount that he deserved to pick up his life and come here, and that's pretty unfortunate. So some of his curriculum isn't being modified to his needs, which is unfortunate. Some of these kids are starting to learn to read, but because my son has autism, he learns a little bit different, and we're still trying to figure out a way to present the material to him in a way that he's going to understand. So he's pretty behind right now. My other concern is if his routine is crucial, and all the people that are a part of his daily routine are important, and when that changes, you can tell. He comes home, he has a bad day. If these teachers go on strike, if these direct staff go on strike, I want to know how you guys are going to provide those services listed in his IEP. You can find a substitute teacher, yeah, but how are you going to find a speech and language pathologist that's actually qualified to do the work? That goes with occupational therapy and physical therapy as well. He's required a certain amount of minutes a month. And if his speech therapist goes on strike, who's going to provide that service to him? It can't just be anybody. So, I've put a lot more in my email, so I'm hoping maybe you guys can go recheck and see if maybe it just got misplaced in your inbox.
My name is Robin Flowers. I'm an instructional assistant for severely handicapped, and I work with autistic children. You've heard from 3 parents now about how hard it is at home and how hard it is at the school. Working with one of those students, we see the other end. It is imperative that they have the people that they work with daily. When you get a sub to come in, we notice the change too. Those students are off, they're upset, they're angry, they don't do their work, and they've lost track of where they're at. You see setbacks. They've made progress, but when you have a sub come in for any amount of time, those students don't remember the work that we've done. Because the sub that comes in and works with them, they don't know what we're working on. Even though it's there, they don't know the routine that the student has. And if the teachers go on strike, it's most likely most of your aides are going to be on strike too. I know I'm going to go with them. What's my student going to do? And I'm conflicted about that because I know he needs me. That's something else you guys need to consider. It's the teachers you're not keeping your contract with and your word with. But think about the students and what's going to happen when we're not there either. They depend on us just as much as they do the teacher. And all these teachers, not only do I work at one school, I sub at 2 and 3 others sometimes. Every one of these teachers is awesome. I went to school here, my kids went to school here, and my grandkids go to school here. Every one of these people has made a difference in our lives.
Of educators. I had a whole bunch of stuff I wanted to say, but I wanted you to know that even the IRS acknowledges the fact that teachers spend their own money on supplies for the schools. Granted, it's only $250. But we all know that our teachers spend more than that to help their students succeed. The teachers aren't just educators. They're counselors. They're nurses. They're friends. They're semi-parent for some of these students. Some of these students don't get the support at home that the teachers are willing to give them in the classroom. And the teachers in the classroom cannot afford to give of their own time the way that they do. They don't get reimbursed for staying after school for 20 minutes trying to get Johnny to figure out why 1 times 1 is 1. They don't get reimbursed for explaining to parents why Johnny just won't put his cell phone down. they spend their lunch hours, which they should be able to use for their own personal relief time. But they spend their lunch hours doing administrative work, making copies, checking to see what's current in their fields. Some of them that are going for further education are doing homework themselves, just so that they can support their families. I'm firmly behind support the Del Norte County teachers in their fight for a raise, and I firmly believe that the board is deliberately not hearing the requests.
I'll take her 6 seconds. Don't know me, I'm Cheryl Steinreich. I want to apologize for my spelled word down here on negotiation. I know y'all are teachers out there. At 2 o'clock in the morning, kind of gets to you when you're spelling. Matching up the stencil. Well, I wanted to come forward today because, the last minute I heard about this no war in Iran protest that happened today across this nation. So I decided to stand out here in front of the school since I was coming here to the school district office because it's coming to the meeting, right? I have to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I want to let y'all know you're being supported in this community. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
What I want to tell you all, now I have been very sick. I could not get out of bed when I thought that guy in the White House was going to push that red button, and we were all going to get blown to smithereens with a nuclear bomb. Do y'all realize the stress we're going to have when that bomb goes off in our refineries, our pipelines, all the places that they have in the hair triggers for us? Are we going to be worried about a strike then? My point is though, yeah, thank goodness, because the pressure that we as grassroots voters put on the White House, we aren't going to go to war. But that's what it takes, is this grassroots revolution that we got going right now. For y'all, administrators, to realize it's serious. And the stress that's put on families because we're worried about what's going to happen when these fine people have to go on strike. Not too long ago, some of you were in the classroom. What the hell would have been your choice? I think some of y'all should be in the classroom. Kids are coming in because they're worried about a war that we have no control over. We're not worried about just starting putting down their cell phone. Maybe they're trying to contact somebody in Miami or somewhere who's in the climate crisis areas. How do we know they haven't been struck by a flood or some damn thing? This stress is really high, and I think you all need to think about that. And the longer you all stress this out, the worse it's going to get. I told you guys before, last time I was mounting off around here, was did you realize what's going to happen with the revolution if we all decide not to get off the pot and do something? Do you? I know you sit there behind the Brown Act. Oh, I can't say a word. It's against the law. And you know what? You guys are in a position as school board members to run this district with the trustee that you have been given. Trust. Trust, trust. Thank you so much.
My name is Jackie Bishop, and I am an educator, but I'm also a third-generation community member in Del Norte County. I grew up in Canada my whole life. My mom's a teacher, my dad's a hard worker, but I'm a mother of 4 students in this community. And my children love school. They love school, and they're very intelligent children. I have one at the high school who is a three-sport athlete. She gets a 3.2, playing three sports and being involved with the traveling team where she travels to Petaluma every Sunday. She is very committed. She does not miss school. She does not skip school because she knows how important school is. I have a 7th grader who exceeds all standards. She is extremely intelligent. She should be in she's in 7th grade, she should be in 8th or 9th grade math, but they don't allow her to do that because they don't have those options. I have a 2nd grader at John Hamilton. Oh, by the way, I have 4 kids in 4 different schools, and I live in Klamath. I bring my kids to school in Crescent City because I do not feel that the climate at Margaret Keating is what it should be. So, my kids go to 4 different schools in Crescent City. We get up every morning, 5 o'clock, so that they can go. My kids don't miss school, again, we are here all the time. I have a 2nd grader at Joe Hamilton who has an amazing teacher, and I have a TK at Pine Grove. And that's why I'm speaking, is because of my TK student at Pine Grove. He was originally at Joe Hamilton. Then they decided that they couldn't have TK at Joe Hamilton. And they shipped all those poor TK, those 4-year-old kids, within 3 weeks of school starting. These kids who were trying to get to love school. The kids that were trying to get to understand, this is what you need to do. You need to love school. This is where you start them. We send them away from the teacher that they have developed a relationship with, and we send them to a new classroom in a new school with a new teacher. And then, 3 months later, we turn around and we say, oh, I'm sorry, this TK teacher can't be the TK teacher because she hasn't done what she was supposed to. So we're going to take this teacher and put them back over here. So we're going to move things around again on these TK kids. By the way, there are 27 TK kids in that classroom. And from the beginning of the year, they didn't have enough tables for all their students. Now, my son Jackson loves school. And he loves school every day, and he doesn't miss school unless he's sick. He has a lot of health problems with RSV and asthma, and he gets sick, and it keeps him out. Like he just got over, they thought he had pneumonia, he was out for a few days. He didn't have any problem going back to his classroom because those teachers loved him. His teachers loved him. His teacher, Mrs. Hayes, is a first-year teacher in this district. And she's come into this district and has experienced this climate. And I will be surprised if you are able to retain that amazing woman.
Hi, I'm Trista Trout. My 4-year-old grandchildren just started school at Harrington Park. I just moved up here from Humboldt to be with them. And because I'm from Humboldt, I can do a real new agey thing, and that's normal name. So people have been talking, and all of a sudden it's kind of like a river. You know, just flowing and flowing. And after a while, it just flows on its own. So what I'd like to do, if I have time, is I'd like to just be quiet a minute. I think I want the people involved in making decisions to listen to what's going on in their head instead of the list of groceries they need to get, or arguing with the people here, or gee, our hands are tied and we're really sorry we couldn't do anything about it. So I'm just going to be quiet.
You will be recalled.
construction paper and extra pencils and things like that. It's just part of being a teacher, I think. It's a kind of a sad, financial situation, but it is, in my family's always been there, part of their thing. Staying up late at night doing lesson plans and parading and stuff like that. That's part of the dedication to teachers. And if they're in here at this time of night, instead of doing the myriad of things they'd rather be doing, just to get a coffee and get in, it's so simple. And it is simple. It's as simple as saying, okay. So that's what I asked. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Taylor Andrew, and I'm a special education teacher at Persephone Middle School. And I wanted to address the board not out of anger, but just to try to personalize my wife's and my situation for you all to see what it's like to be here for us. We moved here from the Sacramento area about 1 year and 4 months ago because we love this area. We love the community. We want it and want to be here and to remain here. But here's the reality of our situation. When we moved up here, I took about a 30% pay cut to do that.
Right here.
And the benefits that are covered, they were completely covered in my previous district. They're not here. $1,000 every month of my paycheck is taken out just for healthcare, not including all the other things.
Right here.
This is my 17th year teaching. I was credited with 5 years, and then if I am rehired next year, there'll be another 5 years, which still puts me pretty far behind where I would have been. And I calculated, if I just compared the salary structure that we have here and where I came from, if I work for another until I'm 80, I still will never reach what I would have been making last year.
That's right.
In Sacramento. It's a challenge. We have 2 kids in college. We have 1 on a mission right now, and there are a lot of cost outlays for things like that, as you can imagine. My wife is also a teacher, and this is, I believe, her 14th year. This is going to be her last year teaching. She's leaving education altogether, which is really a disappointment to me because she's a fantastic educator.
Yes, she is. Yes.
So I plead with you, consider, what you can do to attract and retain qualified educators, because it really is a challenge. We want to be here. We want to teach. We want to continue to be a part of the community. So please consider those things when you make your decisions. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alicia Wilson. I'm in my 7th year as an instructional assistant at Sunset High School. And tonight, I just have a neutral position, but I wanted to thank you guys for supporting PBIS coming to our district. It's foundational, it's safe, respectful, and responsible. And by bringing that, I'm just asking, are your actions going to ensure safety? Is it respectful? And are you taking responsibility?
Woo! Yeah.
I'm also thanking you for bringing restorative justice to Crescent City, and we practice this at Sunset, and I just want to encourage you that I have faith that they're going to make the right decisions, and as we've seen with our own students, that when harm has been done, which is evident in this room, there is opportunity to build bridges and to restore relationships so we can be even better when you get past this. So please, I encourage you to practice what you've invested in and we are doing. Thank you.
Good evening, Angela Stanley, parent to 3 children in the district. I spoke last time about the impact that the teachers personally have on our lives. I would just like to remind the board and the administration that runs this district that you are all elected officials. You are elected to be good stewards of the money, and paying our teachers what they deserve can never
ever be accomplished. The amount of money these teachers deserve will never, ever, ever be enough. Pay them the 3.26% COLA that they have been granted, and let us please move on. A COLA is not a raise. A raise is what you are choosing to not apply to the steps and columns. Thank you.
Amber T. King-Tron, and I to use Marshall, not DNTA. So, Alicia and I were apparently channeling today. So, quick PBIS review lesson. Our 3 rules are: safe, respectful, responsible. Now, in training for PBIS, there's a few things. You're supposed to build what with students? Relationships. Wow, we didn't practice that. They also say that when there is a problem, you never get in a what kind of struggle? Power struggle. Woo, woo, woo. You need to follow PBIS here. It has become a power struggle. You are hurting people. The tactics, the misinformation. Some of the stuff I've been quoted as saying by people from this building, good Lord. If you ever want to know what I've said, feel free. It's a power struggle at this point. How badly do you want to be right until something goes? How bad do you want to be right to hurt that relationship? Think long and hard about that. How important is it to be right instead of do the right thing? Thank you.
My name is Jacob, and in my opinion, I think the substitutes here are not that great. School substitutes were somewhat good. If you don't give the teachers the answers they want, then lots of kids will be stuck with the substitutes who don't really know what they're doing.
For the 5th grade position at Persephone. Apparently, he is terrific. He has taught abroad. He recently moved in across the street from me, so I spoke with him for about a half hour. He's connected with the kids. He wants to make his home in Delmar County. He made 2 truckloads moving his things here. He was denied reimbursement for that. Mr. Kissinger has about $9,700 applied towards his group. He says that he has never made such little money as when he first began teaching. And he feels really disrespected. Your labor towards that man, who by all accounts is terrific. He's contacted his people for international teaching again. He's going to be leaving. Wow. Congratulations.
Hi everyone, my name is Kirsten Miller. My pronouns are she for hers. That is a thing we practice at Sonoma State. But I am a 2019 high school graduate from Del Norte High School, and I currently attend Sonoma State University right now. I am an English major because my favorite teacher was at high school. However, I am switching into sociology. Yeah, sorry guys. But there are 2 things that I miss the most when I am at Sonoma State, which is the accessible ocean, we love that here, and my high school teachers. I just want to start off by saying I really appreciate you guys, and I feel like that isn't said enough by the school board, so I love all of you, even the ones I don't. For those who don't know, I've had a hard life. I'm not going to go into it, but I will say that my high school teachers have been there for me and are my family. They have supported me, motivated me, and inspired me to be the first in my family to continue a college education. I am so thankful for these adults in my life that have made me feel loved. Just during midterm season for me, I came back to Del Norte just to get help on 2 essays. And yet, I'm not going to name them now, but I think about 4 or 5 of them are here today. Not to humbly brag, but I did get an A on both those essays. One was about Spanish colonization, which I cannot say anything about anymore, but I passed the class. But I know these teachers wouldn't just do this for me, even though I am their favorite. They would do this for any of their students because they are caring, wonderful people who see the potential in students that they might not even see themselves. I would just ask to please treat them with the respect they deserve, because honestly they're more than teachers to me, but they are my family.
Yes.
Special education resource teacher for Western River and Fugate schools. I'm wearing a combination course today. I am wearing the red for ed in support of our teachers, but also today's Thursday. And so Thursday is the day that we recognize our instructional assistants, our classified staff, our secretaries, and their day is blue. You as a father, my son, who is on the autistic spectrum and is epileptic, has concerns about the strike, obviously. He asks questions like what happens if there's a strike. And all we can do is sit around our kitchen table and pray that perhaps cooler heads and more logical decisions will prevail. I went back and I studied Governor Newsom's proposal because everything seems to be hinged upon that. He based it on economic projections that we were going to have modest economic growth, not necessarily a recession, but only modest economic growth. But he gave nearly a 5% increase to education in the state of California, including $571 million to special education. Went from $61 billion to $64 billion. That's almost a 5% increase. But he also took things off of the plates of administration, district administration too, in that you no longer have to pay those contributions to STRS and PERS also. So that was a tremendous cost savings for you as well. Then also he allocated as part of that $3 billion to 3.26, and we seem to have some disagreement as to what a cost of living entails. And hopefully we can come to some kind of resolution. I really do. If we were to hit a recession, I know we've talked about the fact that if we do this, it's going to dip into our reserves, it might cause us a recession. Teachers have always been willing to put things on their backs for the betterment of the students. We are willing to suffer together. And good leaders are willing to suffer together also. I would like to very quickly inspire you with the George Washington and the founding of our republic. After the American Revolution, Congress was not willing to pay the soldiers that had fought on the front lines. And Washington, in order to stop the people from going up in arms, took out a letter and read to his soldiers how much he genuinely and greatly appreciated them, and then proceeded to take money out of his own pockets to meet their needs. That's the budget.
I can't speak loud. I've been sick for a month. I'm Melissa Anderson, and my husband speak, but I like to speak more as a parent and as a substitute teacher for this district. I see faces from Smith River. That's the school I sat at. That's dear to my heart. We moved here 5 years ago from Southern California. Between subbing and student teaching and everything, this is the 5th district that I've been part of. When I first moved here 5 years ago, I was honored and blessed to call this my community because of the way that Mr. Harris, Mr. Napier, and Mr. Gatla and the school board treated the teachers and all the programs that were offered to my children. My high school student who's been in music free in Southern California, that would not have been an opportunity for him. He would have had to pay for his music instrument, pay for his lessons, pay for everything. Here he gets to have it for free. We have amazing art teachers, so my children's visual arts are growing. And I am able to be more confident in my skills as a sub because of the family of Smith River and all of these wonderful faces. So I just like to say please, and let me address my son with special needs again. Not just him, I'm a mother of 4. I have a 2nd grader with Mrs. Owen. I have a 3rd grader who's in Mr. Flyle's 4th-3rd grade combination. And I have a 6th grader, he's the one with special needs, and he's going to be my focus for the next 1 minute. And then my husband. My son in October 31st holiday was the day that I will never forget. Because I'm going to cry. Because it brought this community even closer to my heart. My son is epileptic. He had a grand mal at the school when both mom and dad were not there. Do you know what happens with Smith River teachers who are like more than teachers? You hear it all the time. They stop everything. As soon as he blacked out, he hit his head on the concrete because of a fire drill that is required by the state to understand. When my son is epileptic, that means any flashing lights, any strobing lights, and he's going to black out and hit the ground and lose consciousness. So they called ambulance, and then I had 5 staff members, instructional aides, call me to make sure that I was on my way to know what was happening and to wait for me to get there before loading him in the ambulance. It took my son 3 hours to come to in the emergency room before he could even speak again. They kept calling me through my day. And my son, you know what he wanted to do as he got out of the hospital? He wanted to go back to Smith River. Big friend. Yeah. And when I went back on that campus to get his things, this jailer was there. And the 6th graders, the most toughest hearts that you would think didn't even think were the first to run up to see if he was okay and to give him a hug. And you know what those students did on Halloween? I'm sorry, I'm going to go a little longer because I'm not on Halloween, his classmates were trick-or-treating, not for themselves, but for my son, because he couldn't go trick-or-treating because of his seizure back then. And now my son is in that back room, trying to desensitize my zone from all of this crowding and stress. And every day he's asking me, what am I going to do, Mom? Are you going to homeschool me? If the teacher's going to strike? And yes, I will not sub. There's no amount of money you can pay for me to cross that fifth line.
Going straight. I do not see the point when there's not enough substitutes. I've been hearing that we're all going to be crowded, all students with one teacher in a giant classroom, or actually in the gym with not enough seats watching a movie.
Sounds fun.
I do not go to school to watch movies. Is to be a teacher because of my teachers. Spanish 3. How am I supposed to learn Spanish from a substitute who has probably... Yeah. A lot of our substitutes do not care as our teachers do. It's really hard to learn when you have a substitute who just wants to talk about their personal lives or sleeps in the classroom. I believe our teachers deserve this.
They work hard for it, they care for us, they are our family. They take time out of their days after school. On their weekends, I've gone into class because I could not understand the curriculum, and my teachers gave me the opportunity to come in so I could pass the test. I am an athlete. It's hard for me to keep up with my work, but my teachers give me the chance to keep up with the class by emailing me. And how are they supposed to email me the work when they're on strike? That's all I have to say. My teachers are not at school, I'm not at school, and I know a lot of friends and a lot of other children who will not be attending. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaliyah, for going after the Smith River story, because I would have been up here sobbing my face. I have letters and statements from about 30 former students, former Del Norte students, and I wanted to present them to the school board. This has been among the most stressful times of my entire career. I have never felt less heard. I have never felt more disregarded, more disrespected, more taken for granted, more belittled than I feel right now. I was not able to be here at the last board meeting that was this large, and when I heard that the district negotiating team came back with absolutely no difference, what that said to me is you don't really care. That's right. How can you care when you disregard all of this? How can you? That's right. So when my students started sending me statements, whew, did that boost my spirits. So I'm going to read just one of them. I had wanted all of them to be read, but then I feared that we wouldn't have a chance when we saw that an addition was made to the school board agenda that topics would be limited to 20 minutes all of a sudden. And thank you for not holding to that. Right. So here is one statement from a student who was in my AP Literature class, and she came to me with undiagnosed autism and other learning disabilities, but brilliant young woman. 2007 DNHS graduate here. The teachers at Del Norte High were a pivotal step in turning my life around. Despite the high demands and long work days, they were able to provide the individual help I needed and explain things in a way that I could understand. I went from a 1.8 GPA in my freshman year in my previous school to a 4.0 my junior year at Del Norte High School. I've now worked as an instructional aide at a few different schools and have seen more closely what really goes on in teaching. Even as an aide, I was frequently buying supplies out of pocket and crafting lessons on my own time, along with helping the teacher who had so many other roles and things to do. I enjoyed what I did, but I came home every day completely drained. I am currently a master's student at Humboldt State and seeing the challenges of teaching in the college setting, and it's not all that different. It is clear that something needs to change. It is about time that teachers are fully treated and compensated for the professionals that they are and the work that they do. This is from Valerie, and I'm sure she would agree that it's time to recruit, retain, and respect teachers and
and the lead negotiator for the NTA. And I show up at the bargaining table, and I show up at universities to represent the educators of DNTA. There is, sorry, I didn't really plan it. It was very nice. Okay. We are safe, we are respectful, we are responsible. Something else that I try to live my life by is leaving things better than we found them. That applies when you are hiking through the woods. That applies when you're at the beach and you see a piece of trash that washed up. Pick it up, throw it away, right? I was sitting around this past summer talking with a few relatives who are also educators, and our father-in-law overheard us, and he said, if it's that bad, if the pay is that bad, if the treatment is that bad, why don't you get a different job? And I don't want a different job. I want to make this job better. This job deserves to be better. We do focus on relationships in this community. I have only lived here for 3 years. I would like everyone to know that we just bought a house, so I plan on being here for a while. I can't promise that I will retire from Delaware County, but I do promise that when I leave Delaware County, it will be better than I found it. Woo! I don't know if you remember this, Jeff Harris, not Jeff Napier, but Jeff Harris, when I drove up here from Fort Bragg to interview to be an instructional coach. And I interviewed with Leslie and Steve, and it just came up in my conversation with them that I was having a hard time finding housing. I walked up to my car, and all of a sudden, Jeff Harris comes and knocks on my window. And I'm a little bit upset that he remembers this, because that means he saw my trash can of a car. And maybe he also remembers my dog who laughed at him. And Jeff Harris, who was not part of my interview at all. I do think that they were like, Steve said, hey Jeff, this is Paige. But he followed me out to my car and he gave me some very good pointers on finding housing. And clearly I did, because I was able to find somewhere to rent for the 2.5 years before we found somewhere to make our own home. I do not have a relationship yet with the board members. If it comes to it and you are recalled, I probably will eventually have a relationship with you, because it is a small town. There's been a lot of blame placed on a lot of people, and I hate to say this, but it really comes down to the people sitting at that table.
Yep.
I cannot tell you for sure who is the mastermind. I cannot tell you for sure who is making the idea of threats, or who is so insistent on sticking to the original offer. I can't tell you that. If you want to get into loopholes in language, you have met your match, because that's why I love bargaining. I think that a contract should be read by every single person and understood the exact same way. I think that the bargaining team, I've said it more times than I probably should, if we all get hit by a bus, both sides, don't know how that's going to happen, but if we did, anybody should be able to pick up that contract and continue moving forward. There are laws that come into play. There are also people who break laws, and they're able to make new precedents set. And as a millennial, I want to do that. I want to leave not just Del Norte, not just the teaching profession, but the world a better place. And it has to start with some movement from the people behind that table. We are creative humans. The bargaining team is some of the most amazing humans I have ever worked with, both bargaining teams. Honestly, both bargaining teams are incredible humans. We are trying our best, but we are hitting a roadblock, and it is the people behind that table. Yes. I text messaged Colleen. I'm sure it's not a secret that we met at the table today. Didn't end very well. I texted Colleen, I have something to give you. I run over here, we have a weird exchange of a piece of paper, and I pray that that paper ends up in your hands in an extra closed session soon. And I hope that you look at that paper and you see that for the 10th time, we are trying so hard to work with you. We are trying so hard to be creative, to maximize your dollar so that we can live a little more comfortably. You all know that we are not being paid what we deserve. And none of us went into this profession to get rich. There is money. Yep. Get creative. Guess what? We just bought a house, and I really wanted new bookshelves. Should you really buy some new bookshelves when you just put down your entire life savings on a down payment? You shouldn't. But you know what I did? I found a way to get those bookshelves that I wanted. If you want to move forward, it is not too late to repair these relationships. It is not too late. I still have a great story to tell about the first time I met Jeff Harris. We have had some run-ins, not always face-to-face, but we have not frequently seen eye to eye or anywhere close to it lately. If there is hope right here, there is hope for this entire community, and it comes down to this school board going back into closed session, making some movement. Big movement. We just make big movement. Being creative. You don't have to be right. You don't have to have the final word. How amazing would it be if we were able to meet at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning and we had a settled contract? And sincerely thank you all. Yes. And start repairing what has happened this year. If we need to strike, we will strike. Your threats are not going to work.
Nope.
We do not want to strike. We want to go back to work and actually put all of our bandwidth into our kids. Yes. We want to be able to go home right after work one day and make a plan for how we're going to build a fence in our new house. Instead of sending out emails to membership to try to keep people calm. Instead of talking with everybody at CTA Legal. Instead of trying to be creative and getting, worked up. I just want to be able to go back to a normal life. But if you do not allow that, I guarantee you, I am not backing down. I will continue showing up at that bargaining table and that grievance table to represent these educators. I will also still keep showing up for my kids. And I will leave this school year, I will leave this bargaining session, and I will ultimately, at some point, leave Del Norte County a better place than I found it.
My name is Marian Wilson. I work at Del Norte High School, and I'm on the DNTA Executive Board Secretary. I just came to remind you of something that I read a couple of weeks ago in the paper about checking on feasibility of passing a new bond. Did I dream that? Did that really appear in the paper? I laughed out loud. There's no way another bond will pass without us. We made the first one pass, another one give up, unless you get this contract settled fairly and pretty rapidly. Now! Secondly, the weird Facebook information that I read that was from an employee of this district office about some misunderstanding, maybe it's just mere ignorance, I don't know, but about columns being something you get. You get that pay increase like it's granted to you in a silver platter. For anyone, community members, or that person that said that, just to make it clear, that's not a free movement. Units cost money.
Right, it sure does.
Depending on what units they are.
And time.
And time. So no, we work hard for that. Step and columns no raise, and you know it? You know it. Some of you are teachers. It's nonsense. That should be retracted. Never let it to print again, as far as I'm concerned. And with everything else, we're prepared.
prepared to do whatever it takes to recruit and retain the best teachers for our students by obtaining a fair contract now.
I, of course, was a student in this district, as were my parents and many relatives probably before that. I'm here now as a teacher, and Jeff Napier, I remember you were a teacher out at Smith River School, so I know you know the walk of a teacher. I also know that you were an admin because I worked as an IA, and you were admin out there at Smith River School. And I think here's the reality. It takes a lot of people to do the kind of job that it takes to educate and care for the needs of the kids that we have. And a lot of people do a lot of extra things. My IAs in my current position, they're amazing, and I'm so thankful for each of them.
Word. Thank you.
Custodians, yes, cleaning up and doing things. Secretaries doing things that probably I don't know how to do those words. Counselors, OTs, SLPs. Anyways, it takes a lot of people to do this job. And here's the problem that I find. I think that we need to step back and think about this. Understand different people have different levels of education. Maybe our jobs are deemed more important, but they're not, because none of us can do our job without everybody else.
Yep.
So when we're looking at attracting and retaining, so I've heard that the reason that Jeff Napier's scale of pay got so high in a short amount of time was to increase the pay to attract and retain qualified admin to do the job that needs to be done. Which is the same thing that we're asking with teachers, which is the same thing we're asking for classified. So when you're making your decision about how to allocate money, I think we need to look at our whole block, not segregate admin, this is how much you get, and teachers, this is how much you get, and then the classified, this is how much you get. If we're asking for 3.5%, and you guys get 3.5%, and classified gets 3.5%, all of us get an increase in pay. Your pay is going to be more than what we get. Classified will be less than what we get. But if we're really trying to value people and we're really honoring the work that every single person does, that's what we need to do. We need to think about being fair and honoring all the people that serve in this district.
This is an amazing visual. Woo! This speaks. We are pushed all the way back, and we are not pushed down. And we're not going anywhere. I have all night.
We sleep in here tonight.
This is a beautiful visual. As a language teacher, we need the visual to make connections, so I brought part of my heart up here with me. I won't make them say anything. But these are my heart behind me, some of my students that I have right now that and some past students that also share it, so thank you so much for being here. I hesitated speaking because, I hasn't started yet. Okay, I hesitated sharing this tonight. I wrote this from my heart and from my mind, and I thought, is this too negative? Is this too mean? Is this going to hurt someone's feelings? And I was actually not going to share it because I was worried about hurting feelings. You need to hear it. My community needs to hear it. Quit treating us educators, counselors, and paraeducators, and one nurse, like we are less than you. Quit treating us like we are unimportant, ineffectual, irrational, and replaceable. Quit spreading lies to the community about what's really going on in our district right now. Quit talking to us and about us like we don't understand, like we don't speak your language.
Thank you.
Rein in your online presence that is spreading animosity and untruth.
Yep.
Quit saying things like, we value our teachers, but I'm grateful for all staff, but once you say but, we all stop listening. Quit giving us more to do and not more with which to do it. It's been said a lot lately in many ways. It was said tonight, actually, word for word, that this seems to be a power struggle more than a money struggle.
Yes.
You're abusing your position and your power. Anyone that's seen or been in an abusive relationship knows that it ends usually in one of three ways. Apathy. A lot of us are in that pool right now. I hate to admit that personally. You're running on empty. Breaking or blowing out. Or 3, walking away. We're seeing all of these as a result of this unhealthy power struggle.
Yep.
We see people blowing out and making poor choices and reacting poorly. We see apathy, and we see people going, I'm resigning.
Yep.
I'm not going to get treated like this anymore. And then they walk away. One last thing I need you to quit. Quit treating us like we are the problem.
Yes.
We are part of your solution. I am one of 2 full-time world language teachers in this entire district. We have no world language opportunities K through 8. That's so sad.
Yeah.
In a competitive job market, in a competitive world as far as like, I'm getting these students ready for the adult world. I'm getting them ready for the university. They're trying to apply to competitive universities, and we have not given them the fair chance to be up against somebody else that's been taking Spanish since 7th grade. Okay, I digress. Quit treating us like we are the problem. We are part of your solution. You have the opportunity to do the right thing. You have the power to do the right thing.
Yep.
Quit all this nonsense and get it done. We are not peons. We are not intimidated. We are teachers, therefore we are fighters. Look at how big these kids are. A lot of people are intimidated by high school students. They're not intimidating. They're beautiful. And they're our future. We're not intimidated, and we're not unreasonable. So fix this now so that we can go back to more gratifying things with our time, then plead for you to give us what should have already been ours. Thank you.
My name's Stephen Jackson. First and foremost, I come here as a parent, and like for me, 9 years ago, I was able to buy a house right across the street from Mary Peacock. I think it gives me a lot different of a perspective for people that come into this room every day, because one of those is I get to see the teachers staying late every single day. I get to see the teachers that are there on the weekends, and the really cool thing I can't be like more thankful than to them for is I come home after long, long days at work. And I'm exhausted, right? I muster up everything I can for my kids to keep a smile on my face for them. I watch these teachers as they're leaving the classrooms, and my kids are playing out in the front yard, and they're excited to see their teachers outside of the school setting, and these teachers are giving them everything still, right? This is after hours, and they're still pouring into them. So that right there, huge gratification for me, because you guys are keeping my kids motivated. I've got a daughter who, I was never a straight A student, right? I was always C average, barely went for sports, and I'm good to go. got a daughter who's grade A 4.2 in middle school right now at Crescent Oaks because huge part to Mary Peacock teachers, huge part to Crescent Oaks teachers, huge. Second, I'm a business administrator here in Delaware County. I have an agency that employs over 140 people, working in the human services industry, working with adults and kids with developmental disabilities. That's afforded me opportunities to go and sit on boards for nonprofits that have budgets of $300 million investing in communities such as ours. Sitting on that board, we have to have conversations. And over the last 5 years, some of the conversations were, we can't keep service coordination inside of any of our Eureka, Crescent City, Mendocino County. We can't keep teachers, or not teachers, but service coordinators inside of those positions. So the state of California goes and dumps a ton of money in to find out, why can't we keep teachers inside our, service coordinators? I love teachers. But why can't we keep service coordinators inside these spots? And they find because the pay had no relation towards the value that they presented. Whether it be the degrees that they had to put in, whether it be the hours that they had to put in, the relationships that they developed, it's no different than a teacher in the sense. And fast forward 5 years, I'll tell you guys what we found out. We have to pay the service coordinators. We went through there, now we're finding new pay structures for them. We're not, as on the board, we're holding the administration accountable inside this nonprofit to make sure those raises are put into place and that we're actually retaining that service coordination because it's invaluable. Right? We have to make sure that we're investing back into that because if there's no relationship from your front line to the person you're providing your services to, doesn't matter what industry you're in, you're going to lose everything.
Yep.
And for us to lose everything, we're losing our future. Because if we're losing everything now, we're losing our kids.
Yep.
We're losing the future people sitting on this board. We're losing future administrators, future teachers, everything. So please, from lessons from a completely different industry to this one, listen to your teachers. At the end of the day, you're going to find out you're going to have to pay them.
Yep.
The study that you guys posted yourselves on your Facebook page that talked about the West Sonoma County and the strike that went on there and what ended up happening. What ended up happening?
They won.
They won. It was 3 times as much as the board actually wanted to pay out.
Yep.
You guys are getting off easy. Right? That was a 12.1% increase that those teachers ended up getting. This is small wins, man. Let's move forward.
Parenting, so we'll see how this goes. But, my name's Jen Laundrie. I teach at Delmar High School. I teach social science, so history. I've taught everything from 4th grade all the way up through 11th grade, and I can say without a doubt that my favorite and the thing I'm most passionate about is teaching history to high school students. It's what I love to do. And I'm seeing these students, my past students, my current students up here, talking from their hearts and being so articulate. Here I am probably babbling, but what kind of a teacher would I be if I couldn't get up here and just thank them for being here and thank the community members? I know a lot of people have left, but I teach about civic responsibility and democracy and your voice matters and every vote matters and speak up when you need something. Right. So everything that's been happening, I've been feeling so stressed out and overwhelmed and exhausted, just exhausted. I don't think it was 8 p.m. most nights, maybe later. I live in Gasky too, so 20-minute commute. But then I get to school and I'm just feeling drained, and then they walk into the door and they're joking with me, they're calling me queen, I don't know. And then I start teaching. I did a lesson about comparing the Langston Hughes poem to Tupac, and the students were so engaged, and I was like, this is what we're here to do. We're not here for this, we're here for them.
Yes.
See our energy 100% for them. I can't do this much longer. And I paid $60,000 to get a master's degree. I can go pretty much anywhere. I don't have children. I have a husband, but I don't have children. I'm not rooted. Yes, I grew up here. Yes, I'm a proud Delmar High School graduate. Beth Maxwell, Mary Peacock, Crescent Oaks. They made me who I am. And as a lot of you know, I've had a pretty crappy life. But they're the reason I get up. They're the reason. Liz, you're the reason I'm here. So thank you. Let us get back to our jobs.
Jones, Delmar Teachers Association President, proud representative. not very good at thanking people, so I'm going to start off right now. I want to thank the Brookings Harbor Education Association for showing up tonight. Thank you. I'd also like to thank the Delaware County Union also for showing up tonight.
Yes.
I'd like to thank the Rosini. I haven't slept in 3 nights. For their support also. I want to thank the retired teachers. Got a really shout out to my dad who really wanted to come tonight. He's turning 88 next week, and he taught for 39 years. I want to thank the community. I'm not a Facebook person, but I get to sleep with my wife every night. And not only that, but every store I go to, everywhere I go, our community, believe it or not, I believe it. Because I totally believe it. Our community is totally behind us.
Yes.
That's the reason why I'm getting up every day and going in there and seeing those faces every single day. And I teach 7th and 8th grade, and some people say, well, how do you do that? You know why? Someone's got to teach them, and these guys are the greatest. And I am so glad to have spent 27 years doing that, and I want to do it longer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this situation, the way it's set, I had a conversation with my wife today. If this doesn't get resolved, I'm leaving.
Yep.
I don't have a lot of years left, but I can go down to the area and stay at my brother's.
Yep.
They'll give you credit for all the years, too.
I'm willing. I want to stay here. I want to be proud of being here because I'm not leaving this community. I'm retiring here for sure. I'm going to die here. I'm going to be buried right over there. I've given 27 years of dedicated service to this district. I built a band program for my bass drum.
Yes.
Teachers here get recognized statewide, nationally. We have the greatest teachers in California, bar none, bar none. And I'm looking at the young teachers here, and you guys inspire me, just like my students do, because you guys are absolutely incredible people. I had a 2.5-hour conversation with our new teacher at West Maxwell that took 2.5 months to get here. He came 51 miles south of Mr. Kissinger. Was not offered moving expenses. Was not paid his salary for his full salary for the month of December. And wasn't even going to get insurance until January. That's how you attract and retain teachers. I'm disgusted. I'm absolutely disgusted that we would treat people that way, even knowing full well it took that long. How? He said he walked in the door. He's an awesome teacher. Absolutely awesome teacher. He's taught in 4 different countries. Absolutely incredible person. I was inspired by this man. I was like, please, please stay. He came up here. He wants to retire here. There's beauty all around us. We're not going to keep it. And we're not going to keep others too. Because of your inability to be able to negotiate.
Shame.
And if you don't have the money next year, we will sit down, we'll work with you like we've worked for the last 5, 6, 7 decades. We will work with you.
Right.
Why? I don't understand, I don't get it. Ms. Napier, I went in during Christmas break. I went in on a Friday and walked the whole hallway. Nobody there. Diane was at the end, so I spoke with Diane for a while. And then Jeff came in nonchalantly. Hey, how's it going? Well, it's not good. What's your end game? What's your end game? This needs to end. It needs to end amicably, and we need to start building this relationship back. And you've heard it over and over again, and I don't want to be a broken record about it. But the point is, you don't think we're worth it? Then we're gonna leave, what are you gonna get instead? Okay, Mr. Harris, a year ago, we were beginning to see this problem. And we were getting ready for school to start, and everyone comes in, you know, that one time when we all come in and we get to meet everybody. At one time a year, we all get to be in one spot. That's sad. 200 teachers, and we only get to meet once a year. Anyway, we're going there, and we need a teacher. We need a 4th grade teacher. And they didn't have it. So Mr. Harris goes up to a complete stranger. Bradley, who was here tonight, goes to the park service, great guy. Know the family, know him, and offered him a 4th grade position. And I'm thinking, yeah, he's a great guy, he'd make a great 4th grade teacher, but just off the street, you're just gonna ask a complete stranger, do you want a job? That's where we're at. Because that's what we're going to do for strike, right?
Yeah.
If you have a BA, you're golden. You're a teacher. You can teach our students here in Delmarva. Doesn't matter whether you care, whether or not you have a relationship with them. It doesn't matter. Let's stop this. Let's solve this so we don't have to go to strike. Please?
Yeah.
Please?
We have some of the more difficult kids and the difficult jobs, and yet we have a wonderful team working there. We have wonderful teams throughout the district working hard, really difficult kids. And I know that you guys are spending a lot of time trying to figure out what you're going to do about special ed if we strike. How are you going to do compensatory services? How are you going to handle the severely handicapped kids? There's no way that you can even figure out where I am in my assessments. So you won't be able to finish them or write the reports that are due by a certain deadline. That's one thing. You can't hold the IEPs that might go over deadline. And there may be fines involved, just so you know. But more importantly, we have some precarious kids out there that you won't be able to manage. You will not be able to manage no matter who you bring in, no matter how well trained they are. And you know why? Because you don't have a relationship. Relationship is what it's all about. And it's what it's growing to be here. We're damaging relationships all Yep. So please, please, please think a little bit differently. Think a little bit outside the box. So that we can all be working inside and outside that box together as a team and feel like a team.
I planned to be as a stay-at-home mom when we moved back to raise our family. And when we started having children, we realized a teacher's salary is not enough. And now, with inflation and the cost of living increases, I will have to probably find a full-time job instead of a part-time job so I can be home with my children because their father is with other children who need him. He currently is a volunteer coach for 6th grade basketball, volunteering his time, unpaid if you don't know what that means, because Smith River doesn't have that opportunity, and we love our community of Smith River, and we want to give every child that comes to that school every opportunity that they are allowed to have at Redwood and Preston. And that means that he goes unpaid to coach a team. And let's face it, a coaching stipend is ridiculously laughable. But he doesn't even get that. There's no money for, so we're told, uniforms. So they'll be wearing 10-year-old uniforms unless we can raise the money to buy them. Or they come out of our own pocket. And there's another topic that we can go in of how much of our income, we have 3 children, goes into his classroom every year. And we're happy to do so. Because those kids that come into those classrooms deserve the absolute best education that they can get in Del Norte County. We are already, because of in a rural area, have a disadvantage to those in a more city environment. They have way more opportunities. And we want kids like us to be able to go to college, to succeed in college. There's lots of first-year college students, first-generation college students that come out of Del Norte County because of these beautiful people. Mr. Napier, you were one of them. I love math because of you. I went all the way through calculus in college, and it had nothing to do with my major. Because you instilled a love of mathematics in me. And I just ask that you respect this community that is such a huge part of Del Norte County and give them a cost of living increase, not a raise. Yep.
And I wrote this at 3:45 today compared to just let loose. And I'm having to modify it a little bit because there's some really important points that need to be said here. And luckily I've had several hours to listen and calm down. But before I even start on this, I will say the amount of love and support that I have been hearing in the last 48 hours from this community, backing its teachers, is overwhelming. I've cried more times in the last 24 hours than I don't even want to admit, because of the love I feel from this community. And that's saying something. Because I came up here to fight for my livelihood. And the fact that this community is rallying behind me and my colleagues in support of what I'm doing tells me I have no reason to be ashamed for what I'm about to say. Okay. Because we are in the right. Yep. I love Kelly Trina, thank you. There is no substitute for us. We are damn awesome. Thank you for making that sign. You have inspired me since the moment you made it. Everybody knows it was floated around that you guys were offering $366 a day for a sub. Should we go on strike? And as board members, your responsibility is to represent your constituents. And I'm wondering how many of you have canvassed your area, asking your constituents if they support that decision on how money is being spent. I know I wasn't asked, and I'm not going to call out my representative by name because I'm wanting to be respectful, because it's part of being safe. Although I was really gonna at 3:45. But what you need to realize is have that agenda item. Stay down, there's some things you need to know about. You're gonna need to up your game if you're gonna offer that. Because you need to start attracting more because you're starting to retain less. Yep. We've already heard of several people leaving. And that starts by showing us some respect because we are professionals. Professionals that, I'm sorry, don't work for you. We work for our community.
Yep. Yes, we do.
Our community is where our heart is. There is nothing stronger than a teacher's heart for every student that we have contact with. And your proposal to pay subs, your possible future proposal, should this continue to escalate, is a slap in all of our faces.
Yep.
You devalue what we do. I spend a lot of time, money, and emotional energy doing what I do. And I've earned every penny of what I am paid. To pay someone who will not be putting in the same amount of time, love, and energy as I do is nothing short of that slap in the face.
Yep.
And every hardworking teacher in this district, I know that parents are backing the teachers. I love serving the families in this community. And I don't work for you. I work for them. I work for them, and you have lost my trust. Because it's gone on this far and it's getting this far. I don't have confidence that you are there for my best interest and this community's best interest.
Yep.
You need to step back and you need to reflectively think, like teachers do every day. How did that lesson go? How can I improve? How can I clear up something that was a little confusing? We step back. We don't take it personally when our kids don't understand. We think of it as a moment to grow and learn. We talk about, you know, it's slipping my brain now. When your brain grows because you're making a mistake. Thank you. I'm working with you guys. You guys need to step back and really think about what is important right now. Because I feel like you've gotten stuck in a place where you stopped thinking about that, and your eye is on a goal and not on the prize that you have in there. You're going to be lucky if you're able to retain even half of these educators in this district until their retirement. I would consider yourselves lucky because right now you've created a divide. You started it. And no smiles or handshakes are going to fix that divide.
Nope.
If they stay, it's because they have deep roots here and ties to the community that we love. It's more roots than anything. Good evening. My name is Penny Quick. I'm an IA Special Ed at Mary Peacock School. I've been part of this community for over 33 years. I married my husband, Ron Quick, 33 and a half years ago.
Most valuable coach.
Oh, what was that? What was that? Most valuable coach? Was that of just this district? Was that? No. Most valuable coach. He ranked in the top 15 in the country. I saw a few of your faces at that particular award ceremony. 30 years at Smith River School. His grandparents retired from this district. He has 2 children, one of which was just honored with her master's degree in education. Specialist certificate also. What I should not be worrying about is whether my husband is going to get what he deserves. Now I apologize to my children. What I really should be worried about is on the 17th of this month, my son, a U.S. Marine, is being deployed to Iraq. Do you hear me? To Iraq. That's what should be getting me upset. That's what
what should be making my autoimmune disease go up. But that's not what's happening. Yes, I am very worried, especially after what happened this week. You can just imagine what kind of night I had. But instead, I'm worrying about what's going to happen to our paycheck. Now, I'm paying for my child's education still. The one that graduated from here, and got a master's degree in education, and has chosen to stay in education, even though she knows full well that she will not be able to buy a home anytime soon because she's a teacher. And as such, we know what that means. What you, each one of you at this table, do you see me? I'm sorry, do you see me? Right there? You need to be figuring out a way to end this strife. I love my job. And with all of this stress, it's going to send me to the doctor. And I'm probably going to have to miss some work, which would be horrible during that strike, because I'm very valued.
Yes, you are.
Yes. But my illness gets worse because of stress. And that's what you guys are doing. Should I send you my hospital bill? What do you think? You think? Yeah. My extra bills that I'm going to incur and the extra medications that I'm going to have to take, that's what you guys are doing. So when you think about that, every one of you that's on this, behind there, that's what you need to be thinking about. All of these people in red. When you go to bed tonight and you hug your wives and husbands and children, think about what's really important. That flag. Because that's what I should be worrying about. That's what I should be thankful for. That I have a child who's willing to put his life on the line to keep us safe. Who respected his parents so much that he wanted to serve his country to keep us safe. Who's responsible enough to stay in the military and defend our rights. That's what I should be worried about, not this. End this now.
I wasn't planning to speak at all, but I have a student who just messaged me, she's watching live, hi Susan, and asked me if I would please read her letter. And I just want to say she's one of many students that inspires me daily to be a better person. I'm Heather Young, Delaware High School, teacher, member at large. I am, my children are third generation Delaware High School. Going to be third generation graduates on my side, fourth generation on their father's side, who's in Australia fighting fires, taking pity on me. So I'm going to read Sam's letter. Those of you that don't know, I'm sorry. You shouldn't remember, she's my neighbor. So, Delaware Unified School District Board members, hello, I hope this message finds you well. I'm Samantha Fuller, 2017-18 student representative to the Delaware Unified School District. I hope that all of you will take a few minutes out of your day to read my message, critically think about my words, and ask questions. Prior to attending Presnell and later Del Norte High School, I had attended 5 different schools in 4 other school districts throughout Northern California. Proudly, I am Del Norte High School graduate and currently a first-generation college student at Sonoma State. Hence, my family was unaware of the intricate steps of how to get to a 4-year university and navigate the university after arriving. I would not be here without the support of Del Norte teachers. All of my fellow university students know how much I value each Del Norte teacher. Furthermore, many of these peers recognize the names of my Del Norte teachers due to the ongoing compassion and empathy that is expressed to me on a regular basis. Teachers from Del Norte High School continue to show compassion by checking in on me, asking how to support me, and assisting me in interview tips, writing letters of recommendation, and problem solving with roommate conflicts, to name a few. Since I have been at Sonoma State University, I have come across one other student who can relate to how supportive the teachers from her high school were. What's more, this student graduated from Del Norte High School in 2019. I directly ask you to show compassion, fairness, and support to our irreplaceable teachers. It is your responsibility to model leadership. Teachers who are paid unfairly will not have the means to support students. We want successful students to proudly say they come from Del Norte, and it starts with you. Thank you. Samantha Fuller, Del Norte High School Class of 2018, School Board Representative 2017.
But a handful of instructors in this district that I should consider my other options, not because they didn't want me, they did. Yep. But because they were concerned about my mental health. My family has been concerned about my mental health. You can imagine why. To add to that though, I thought, you know what? No, I'm going in there, I'm going to stick it out. I had an administrator tell me to never close myself off to other opportunities. That's a little worrisome. And I won't say who, but during one of my many visits to this office, I had somebody that works here in the district office tell me I'd be better off teaching online somewhere else.
Oh, wow.
That's a really rough way to start.
Yep.
What will hopefully be a 30-year career at a district. It's not fun. And I thought about it, and I thought about leaving, but I really like my students, and I really like my school site. So I'm not going to leave. Yay! And if that means that I have to stand here Thursday after Thursday wearing red because of this stupidity, oh my God, I guess I'll do it for 30 more years.
My name is Rachel Owen. I'm a K-8 ELD teacher at Joe Hamilton and Presnell. And some people mentioned PBIS. And the central tenet of PBIS is relationship building. And boy, do I believe that that works. I see it among my colleagues. I practice it, and I see that it works. And I was thinking about how I've started to feel really angry about this impasse that we're at, and I'm not usually that kind of person. I thought, I don't want to make it personal. Why do I feel this way? I feel this way because I don't feel like I have a relationship with the district office. Yep. And I don't want to get into that. I don't want to be a whiner. I don't want to say, oh, poor me. Nobody ever comes and visits me. What I wanted to say is that let's look further ahead. Let's look beyond whatever happens. Either we lose a whole bunch of good teachers and people have a chip on their shoulder, we find some way to come together and get past this. We're going to have to heal from this in some way. It's not that small. We do have to do something. And I would like to encourage our district administrators to make a change after this is over. And please spend more quality time in the schools, talking to teachers, watching, and talking to children. My very best friend from childhood, when we used to play school, she is now a superintendent in Illinois. And I don't expect you to go as far as she does. She does costumes and special events and she's trained and brings her therapy dog to school. You don't have to go that far. But I sure wish I would see you more often at my schools. I see Liz once in a while, Liz out. My site administrators are fine. They come in my room, they look around, they smile, they ask me how it's going. They, if I ask for a minute of their time, they talk to me, but I never see you guys at my school. I can't leave the kids and come here and visit you. You have to visit us. And I think that when this is all done, that's what it's going to take to rebuild these relationships. You have to come and visit us and see what we're doing and spend some quality time with us. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Juan Lobo. I am the teacher at Elk Creek. That's our juvenile hall. I wanted to kind of wait until the end. I don't know if I'm going to be the last one. I wanted to symbolically be one of the last ones because my kids come in last at everything. To the point where many of them, if not all of them, have no idea what's going on. Okay? We have bigger fish to fry in my classroom. So I have not brought, and I try not to bring anything of my personal or professional problems that I have into the classroom to compound on top of everything that they are already going through. They are incarcerated. Some of them are battling alcoholism, drug addiction, sexual abuse by the people that were meant to protect and care for them. And I don't know if this is like tooting my own horn or what, but I am it. I am the dude. I am the guy. My job, best job I ever had. Best job I ever had. I've had plenty of jobs in 3 different countries. Best job I ever had, by far. And I take a lot of pride in my job, and I take a lot of pride specifically in one particular aspect, my attendance. I will put up my attendance. I actually consider myself the iron horse. This year I was trying to end the first part of the school year, 2019, I was trying to end it without any absences. And the last week of school, Monday evening, the last week, I start feeling really bad. Tuesday comes up, I am destroyed. I cannot do anything. I cannot get out of bed. So Tuesday, Wednesday, I cannot go to work. Thursday, I go back. I'm thinking disaster strikes, because, again, I'm the dude. I'm it. I'm the one holding it together in there. And I can, again, not to toot my own horn, my students love me. They will go to war for me, as I will go to war for them. Seriously. And I go there. And I said, so, I'm sorry I wasn't here, da-da-da-da-da. How was it with the sub? And they were like, oh man, this guy, he had no idea what he was doing. He couldn't even handle the computer, blah, 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 total mess. I'm thinking, oh my God, so the stories I'm gonna get from staff are gonna be worse because this, drives up their anxiety and their trauma and everything, and there's blow-ups and fights and attack staff and well. When the day's over, one of the staff members, I think it might have been the hall supervisor. He comes to me and he tells me that the sub went to him at the end of the day and told him that he had been a sub there plenty of times throughout the years and that he had never seen a better behaved classroom ever.
Wow.
I deserve the cola. Of course. I came in really worried and angry, worked up, let's do this, I'm not like that anymore, man. I'm happy. Look at this. And there were even more people here supporting me and everybody else.
That's right. That's because we're all the dudes.
I'm ready for whatever. I want the hall to close down. That's my goal in my life. I want to go there one day and they say, Mr. Lobo, you know what? There's no job for you, bro. Yeah. There's all of the students in Delmore County are happy and successful. Yeah. Right. That's what I want. promise that I'm gonna be here still if I don't succeed before I die or retire or whatever, if I don't succeed in closing it down, I will be here, even though I'm not from here. I will still be here way after everybody here is gone. Here, the table.
Yep, yep.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm ready. Are you ready?
Okay, my name is Amber Miller. I am not a speaker, so forgive me if my voice cracks or anything like that. I'm sorry, sir. I come to you guys, I'm a lead behavioral interventionist, so really good at the science, this is just not a thing. I work for special ed. I am a CCA member. I support my teachers highly. I mean, you guys are not all at the same skill level. We don't all